You remember how to get to the ludicrous mode?
Yeah, I do. I already have it in ludicrous mode.
Let's check it. Let's check it.
Oh,
yeah. You ready?
Yep.
All right.
Finally, one of the biggest names in personal electric vehicles has entered the high-performance electric scooter race with their first ever super scooter. But can the Segway GT2 live up to all the hype?
What's up guys, Jimmy Chang with Andrew behind that box. This is a big box and it's no secret what's in it, the Segway GT2. And just like the box says, it's a super scooter. And in today's video, we're gonna unbox it, set it up, and do a walkthrough from top to bottom. We may not get much riding in because it's one of the coldest days ever here in Denver, but we're gonna take this opportunity to put this super scooter together. Thank you to the folks over at Alien Rides for sending this over to us. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's take a look at this.
It is a massive scooter. Definitely one of the biggest scooters I've ever seen, folded and unfolded. And this is really interesting. It's a 50.4 volt scooter. So the max output is 57.8 volts and 2 amps. It's a 30 amp hour battery, so 7.5 hours to charge this from empty to full.
While the box looked pretty beat up, the scooter itself and everything that came in it is pretty much intact. Let me show you what came in the box. It comes with a screws, wrench, all these instructions, QC checklist, instruction card, valve extender. It comes with 2 chargers and a bunch of cords to go with. And I mean a bunch of cords.
Yeah, it's heavy, over 100 pounds.
So now that we have it all set up, let's do a walkthrough from top to bottom.
Let's start with the cockpit. It's got this cover for this transparent passive matrix OLED. Let's turn this bad boy on. Look at that. Whoa. This thing is beautiful. Coolest displays I've ever seen on an electric scooter.
So you can see how it is transparent.
Yeah.
It's basically glass that you can see through with the display. So that looks pretty futuristic there. That's like something out of Avatar or, I don't know, some futuristic movie.
On the right, you have a twist throttle.
All right, so power button, and then this is your mode button, and then this is to go toggle between your different modes.
And then you can hit this to go into boost, go into race mode, which is just insane. This is one of the coolest scooters I've ever ridden.
Just to be clear, Andrew has ridden this out in San Francisco
at the micromobility event. Yeah, this is pretty fast. Wow, that was nice.
And remember how many volts it is? 50.
That's crazy. This, for a 50 volt system, this is the fastest scooter I've ever ridden.
Not to self-plug or anything, but when I raced the Nami, which was a 72 volt system, it was very close.
Yeah, and it's got 20 more volts.
Yeah.
Holy cow, what? Let me try this. We've got a horn on the left side. It's really electric beeping. It's pretty loud.
It's not as loud as a motorcycle grade horn, and it's more of a chirp than a beep.
And then to get into 2-wheel drive versus 1-wheel drive, you hold down and it switches in between those modes. And to turn on the light, you just rotate that up. And the light is really bright. It's a 900 lumen LED light.
And it looks like you have another light bulb right below it.
Oh yeah, that's just the daytime running lights. So you got daytime running lights and you got nighttime running lights. But 900 lumens is pretty impressive for a headlight on a scooter. You have turn signals, which work really well.
Yeah, we've never seen them this high up in the front before. Yeah, those are bright.
And they just time out after 3 pulses. So not very long, but bright and high mounted. And also, they're pretty low on the back, but they're really bright.
So you got one light there, and then another one that kind of night riders.
And then you have the hydraulic brake levers up here. The handlebar grips, they're not really squishy, but they're really long and they feel good. They're not skinny, they're not too fat, just right. Aircraft aluminum grade frame. I've never seen a folding mechanism this high. Most of the time we see it really low. And to undo it, you just lower this down. But it doesn't get very compact, as you can see. It's pretty big. So just know that this isn't going to transport very easily inside of a car or up the stairs.
But one thing that I'm really impressed about with this is the stem is so solid. A lot of times with these other stems, we have to tighten some screws, turn some knobs. This one, out of the box, is rock solid.
One interesting thing that they call this suspension is they call it a double wishbone suspension. As you can see, it looks a lot more unique. It's really tall and it's lined up parallel with the steering column.
Yeah, so you look in here, the suspension is right inside. Normally, on these other scooters that we review they're jutting out, they're angled, but this is, like Andrew said, just parallel with the system.
This is probably what they mean by double wishbone, as you can see.
And the other thing I've noticed is we have something here that says slow and fast.
Yeah, it's adjustable hydraulic suspension. Then you have a reflector in the front. And one really cool thing about these tires is they look just like PMT tires. This is a much more higher quality tire than we've seen on a lot of the other scooters. The other scooters have a lot more of a square profile. This is a lot more rounded, so you can take cornering a lot better.
When you're riding streets, you want something like a street tire that's rounded, and so it can grip onto the road even when doing turns. And that's what you have here. Now something like this won't do as well off-road. Would you consider taking this off-roading?
I have taken it on some really loose gravel, and it performed pretty well. This has traction control, so it can handle well on off-road terrain where it kind of adjusts the power to the motors depending on if it feels it slipping or not. The tire is designed for street riding, but the traction control with the hydraulic suspension worked really well when I was riding in this loose gravel. It's an 11-inch tire which has anti-puncture gel inside of it, so if it does get punctured, it should self-heal itself. A 1500 watt motor, max output is 3000 watt, 140 millimeter brake disc, which was surprising to me because this scooter stops really well. I was surprised that they used a smaller rotor, but it's a thicker rotor. And one thing I've noticed on these bolts, you'll see they've marked little white chalk lines, one right here, one there. Moving down this deck is massive. This kick plate isn't too aggressive of an angle. Moving to the rear, we have another adjustable hydraulic suspension. Very easy to toggle this between slow and fast. Rear brake light and rear tail light. Little place to put your license plate if you have a country where you have to put a license on there. Another 1500 watt motor in the rear with a max output of 3000 watts. So this peaks at 6000 watts combined and 3000 watts nominal. And then another 140 millimeter brake disc in the rear with the 2-piston hydraulic brakes. And then you see those white marks again. But overall, this is an absolutely stunning scooter. A lot of the scooters we review look like they're just a hodgepodge of different types of parts. Everything on the scooter looks completely unique.
Now, we would love to go ride it right now, but like I said, it's -5 degrees outside. This is super cold. We're gonna charge it, wait for the weather to warm up, and then go take it out and test. But Andrew, you've been on it before. Tell us your thoughts about this ride.
It's fast. That's one of the most surprising things about this scooter is it's not a 60-volt scooter, it's not a 72-volt scooter, but it hauls.
Oh, we got a nice little dirt path here. I mean, you got some dirt, a little bit more off-roady. Oh shit.
This has one of the fastest accelerations that I've ever seen on a scooter.
Well, he's gone. Andrew!
The brake disc on here, even though they're only 140 millimeters and there's no electric braking, we're used to seeing a 160 millimeter brake disc with electric braking, and this scooter stops way better than any other scooter that I've ridden in the past, besides maybe the Nami Bernie Max 2.
You have to go through the tutorial before you can unlock the higher speed, and so it's going through the tutorial right now.
Once you unlock it, you can choose unlimited speed mode or the limited speed mode. If you click on the unlimited speed mode and hit OK, it gives you this warning, and I'm not going to read that, and I approve.
Okay, all set up, all updated. First impressions. In a day and age where companies are making the fastest scooters with the biggest batteries and the highest voltages, I just want something that is quality, that is fun, and that's something that I can rely on. And hopefully this will be it. It is freezing. Freezing. So we're gonna get this in Andrew's car right now.
-10 right now. Ugh, that thing's heavy. Yeah, look at that. It's gonna hit right there. So you have to bring it in at an angle. Getting this into a car would be pretty tough.
Impossible in a car.
It's tough getting it into a Jeep.
We're gonna go get some hot chocolate somewhere. And once the weather warms up, Andrew's gonna take it for a spin.
Before we go for a ride, I want to dive into the app, but I did notice some cool things that you can adjust these rear LED lights. So really cool colors. Not a ton of lights, but just the rear lights are adjustable with the app. I love the scooter. It's ultra fast for such low voltage, and I was able to get it up to 68 kilometers an hour, which is equates to over 45 miles per hour.
I'm impressed by the fact that Andrew felt comfortable enough to just take one hand off the handlebars and just ride. It's nice and stable.
Very stable. There's no steering damper on the scooter, but this is one of the most stable scooters you'll ever ride. So we're gonna put Jimmy on it and test that stability.
First ever ride on the Segway GT2. Suspension feels amazing. I love this twist throttle, and I'm just in eco mode and I'm enjoying this. This is fantastic. It just feels like a nicely tuned machine. I am not a speed demon. I just felt so comfortable riding on that road, going full throttle at just in sport mode. This thing is nice. We can go slow and smooth and talk and not have to worry about that jerkiness that sometimes you get with the high performance scooters.
We've ridden over 100 scooters the past few years, and this is easily the most refined machine that I've ever ridden as an electric scooter.
Love how this just feels like a machine that's designed for the road. I am excited to put more miles on this so we can bring you guys our full review. Make sure to subscribe.